Today, on Be Something Wonderful, what living in the end really means. Manifesting the Neville Goddard way. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. This morning there was a question, or I woke up and there was a question on the channel about living in the end. And one of the subscribers said, Tom, I sometimes get confused about the idea of living in the end and then expecting my desire. Because if I'm living in the end, why would I be expecting it? And we talked about that really. Expectation is really just an absolute belief, an absolute conviction that it's yours, it's done, your wish is fulfilled, and you will receive it. That's all expectation is. So it all lines up in terms of living in the end. But as I was having a cup of coffee this morning, it occurred to me it's so much bigger than that. This is huge. Think about it this way, that in your current 3D reality, you're living in the end. You're living in the end with everything you believe, think, feel, and expect about your reality. In that alternative view, that alternative reality, that desired you, that desired version of yourself is also living in the end of a 3D reality that's virtual to you, and vice versa. Hear this. This is huge. We're going to unpack this some more today. So, your current 3D reality is a virtual or alternative reality to that other version of yourself, to your desired reality. Both you and that alternative version of you are living in the end of your respective realities. That's why they're real. Right? You're constantly expecting and believing it in. You're living in the end. Your perceived negative experiences are or may be positive desires or experiences that virtual you, and vice versa. Hear this. What you're unwanted is very well could be the wanted of that virtual you, of that alternative you. And then that alternative view, that unwanted, could be your wanted or your desire. It's all one. This is huge, right? Do you feel the magnitude of this? Because this is big. Well, let's unpack it a little bit more. So what is living in the end? Living in the end is just going directly to the end, becoming the end. In this sense, the processes, the techniques, the affirmations, the limiting beliefs are irrelevant. They're irrelevant because they don't exist in that alternative reality. Wow, that's big. All the unwanted, all that stuff buried in your subconscious don't exist in that new version of yourself. So you can go right to the end. I'm not saying dump all your processes or all your techniques or all your affirmations. I'm simply saying you don't really need them. And we'll talk more about those. But remember, you create your new reality before it's created. You create your new reality before it's manifested in 3D. Why? Because it's already created. They're already living it, right? In this way, you become a shapeshifter of your inner world, right? A shapeshifter is that mythic, those stories where people could physically change into another being. Well, you're going to change into another being in your inner world. You're going to become the master shapeshifter of your inner world. This is big. Your old thoughts, limiting beliefs, old reactions never existed in that new alternative reality, that new version of yourself. So you don't have to go digging them up. You don't have to go fix yourself. You just move to the new version of yourself. Because why? Because the self that you want to fix, living out this 3D reality, it could be a new or higher version of that virtual you. That virtual you desires that, and you want to fix it. Hear this. That's big, right? Your 3D reality equals an alternative reality for that higher you or another aspect of you. Right? What you want to fix is perfect for that alternative view, and vice versa. Huge today, guys. Okay, this is big unpacking, a big unpacking. So what does this do when you know this and you feel this? Because I feel this in my bones. You gain total creative control of your reality. right? You become a shapeshifter. You can visit alternative realities. You become a master of your 3D experience. That's mastery. You believe you have no control. You believe it's easier to just think, feel, believe, and react like you always have. But it's not. It's only a belief. They're just bogus beliefs like all your other limiting beliefs, which are not limiting beliefs to that alternative view. Hear this, right? You just need to bring all of this to conscious awareness, just like we're doing now. Do you feel the tingle? Do you feel the goosebumps? Do you feel the magnitude of what's going on here? Because this is big, guys. Play the game of life instead of being played by the game of life. Right? You're being played by the game of life when you give up conscious control, when you walk around unconscious and not knowing there's tremendous power within. Right? Wow, this is huge. Well, let's continue, guys. A lot to cover. Remember, you are source. As Neville says, you're the four mighty ones, right? That Blake in his poem. You're the author or the writer. You're the producer. You're the director. You're the actor. You get to do it all. You become the creator and cause of your life rather than you feel like a victim or feel helpless. Right? This way, triggers, reactions, automatic unwanted behaviors don't affect you anymore because you're bringing it all to conscious awareness, right? You make the previously automatic reactions, beliefs, thoughts, and triggers intentional. Meaning, just like that alternative view wants to intentionally have your triggers, wants to intentionally have your unwanted life, right? Just like you want to have that alternative reality that might be unwanted to that other part of you. Hear this, right? Now, just go back and forth. Feel the idea that you can intentionally trigger yourself. And then you can intentionally move back to your wanted. Move back and forth. Feel the creative control. Toggle between the unwanted and wanted. Feel that it's no longer this big scary thing anymore when you can move back and forth. When you can consciously provoke yourself. You can consciously trigger yourself and move back and forth, right? And feel the creative control. When you do that, you let go of all resistance. Resistance becomes irrelevant. There is no resistance because you're in control. You can intentionally move between realities. That's huge, between wanted and unwanted, right? When you consciously create the unwanted, you release all resistance and fear, and you can just go back and forth at will. That's mastery, folks. That's mastery. It's even bigger than that. It's even bigger than that, though. Right? That's amazing. But what's more amazing? You can alternate between your current 3D world and the invisible realm. You can toggle the alternative reality and the new version of yourself. You can go back and forth until both are just as real to you. Hear this. You can go back and forth between your current world, that current 3D world that seems so real to you, and that alternative reality where they both feel just as real to you. Just like you can go back and forth and consciously create the wanted and unwanted, now you can even up your game and go back and forth in realities. Both are just as real to you. Your virtual reality becomes your 3D reality, and vice versa. Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. So you enter into and become conscious and aware of the new version of yourself, just as easily and natural as your 3D self. Hear this. It's just another alternative reality. You don't have to dig up limiting beliefs or negative subconscious patterns because they're not part of that new reality. Just leave those. Those become the wanted beliefs, the wanted expectations of that virtual you, and vice versa, right? You don't have to fix the old 3D you because it's perfect to that other part of you, and vice versa, right? That's just another alternative version of yourself in reality. Hear this, guys. This is huge. You don't have to ditch anything. Just let them be and occupy the reality of your choice. You don't have to ditch anything. Just let it all be and occupy the reality of your choice. That's huge. Your current 3D reality is a virtual alternative reality to another version of yourself, and vice versa, right? Both you and that alternative version of you are living in the end of your respective 3D realities. This is huge. Your perceived negative experiences may be positive experiences that are virtual and vice versa. Guys, I just wanted to review that one more time. I'm going to leave this here so you can absorb this and let the magnitude of this sink in. That is really how to live in the end, the Neville Goddard way. I am your host, Tom Kieran, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, like and share our video. That's how we get our message out. Hit us up on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful, on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kieran, our website at tomkieran.com, at BeSomethingWonderful.com, or write me anytime at info@BeSomethingWonderful.com. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, with great love, this is Tom. See you soon.